Namaskaram. My name is Pia Varma. I am a Bharatanatyam student and teacher at Upahar School of Dance. Today, we will be presenting three Upahar senior students who are currently training for their Bharatanatyam Arangetram. Sanya Narayanan, Anaga Murali, and Dia Ponsudahar have all been diligently training for their Arangetram before the COVID lockdown and now online through Zoom. We will be having a discussion with them on their experiences and thoughts through their training journey, and we'll be sharing some of their clips. We will also be having a discussion with Guru Srimati Shalini Shivashankar on her thoughts through this experience. We have the first kind of topic I'd like to discuss about your preparation and your training. How's it going? So, Sanya, we'll start with you since you've been doing it the longest. How have you been feeling doing them and doing it online now, especially after everything with COVID?
So I started before COVID ever happened. So then there was a sudden change to online lessons, which was very difficult to, get used to. But as months went on, I think I was getting more used to online, and then I went back to in-person lessons, and it was a constant switch because there would be a lockdown and then we had to go online again. And it's quite hard because I was learning pieces online, and trying to learn a piece is very difficult when you're not actually seeing Shalini auntie in person, because if she wants to show you something, it's like, oh, she has to show her feet, not like everything. And me trying to show her the connection going, it's quite hard, but I think I've gotten used to it. I feel like Nritta pieces might be a bit easier to learn online because she can just say like these steps and you understand. Abhinaya is quite hard for me to do online because when you're in person, you can probably get into the topic, discuss it, figure out different ideas. But online, it's like sometimes you can see half my body and not my face when I'm moving. So
What have you found like the most enjoyable, and also what's been the most difficult thing through your Arangetram practice?
the most enjoyable thing is delving deeper into the art form. Like I started this to, I came to a certain level and I was like, okay, I want to take this more seriously. So I think exploring Bharatanatyam more as an art form and seeing the different aspects of it instead of just going to one class, like a weekly class, just doing some adavu's, doing the dance, and making it like, oh, I have to go to dance class. But now it's like, I'm looking forward to that part of my day. And also I think it's enjoyable, like seeing my progress. Like this time last year, that level is not the level it was now. Knowing that, wow, I can make so much progress if I actually, you know, take it seriously and I'm passionate about it, because it's like one of my biggest passions. So putting in all that effort and seeing the outcome is, I think that's the most enjoyable thing. I think stamina is one thing that's quite hard because getting through that first half itself is hard. And then I think just motivation, because some days you're just like, oh, don't want to practice, like I'm too tired, school and everything. But it's, you have to take time out of your day to focus it on dance. So
And just the last thing about the actual event, what do you think? When do you think it will happen, and what type of format do you see it happening in?
we can't really predict when this COVID is going to end, but I'm hoping, it's maybe unlikely, but maybe Septemberish or the later half of this year, because it was supposed to be that time last year. But personally, I would want it to be like a proper event with like a full crowd. But knowing that now, it's like that's unlikely. And this online event, I feel like people have done it, but when I want to do it, I want to have like an actual live physical crowd in front of me, instead of knowing that, oh, people are watching it online. I want at least some people to be in front, even if it's like maybe 50 and then the rest is live stream. But I want there to be a physical audience, so I don't mind leaving it until we can actually do that.
Left, lift right, and bend right. Yes, looking left. Drugurdo, drugurdo. 4 times. Yes, 1, 2. Okay, that's the whole first part. 1, 2, 3, go. Tat dhit takanaka takutari kita taka taka dhit takanaka jam tari kita taka tat dhit takanaka taka dhit takanaka drugurdo, 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 drugurdo. Then the mridangam will play.
I'll go to Dia next. So Dia, how have you been finding your training and your progress?
I think Arangetram training is quite challenging and it's also quite fun as well because you're learning new dance pieces and different ways of how to, like, especially in Abhinaya pieces, like learn different ways how to show one expression because you're technically learning how to be a better dancer. And I also find it really challenging because certain stuff are like stamina, for an example. I find that quite hard because it's hard to keep it consistent. Like some days my stamina is okay, but some days it's not very good. I find learning new dances enjoyable and also getting like positive and negative feedback because that can really help make my dancing better.
When do you think your Arangetram would happen, and what type of format do you think you'd like it to be in?
Well, so far it's quite unpredictable, um, but so far it's going to be at July. But because of coronavirus and everything, it might be like a little before or a little after. And so far it's going to be a live performance with a little crowd because you can't really have too many people.
Kadi ta ta jam ta dhari kita taka ta dhanna ta ta janu ta ta dhimi ta kita taka dim ta ta jam ta dhari kita taka ta dhanna ta janu ta dhimi ta kita ta kita tari kita dimi tari kita taka tajam 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 taka divi ta kita tari kita dimi tari kita taka tajam 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 taka divi ta ka tadi kita tom ka ting kita tom di anandam kumkumarata varnam kamatim divya mayuramagam rudrasya sudam surasainyanatham bhukam sadakam charanam prapate sa gari sadi tadi gina to mapa mapa ta tadi gina to adika mapa tadi sa.
Or keen on having some live audience at least and not doing everything online. Great, lovely. And Anaga, what about you? How have you found your training?
I found training very difficult, but I think it's also really rewarding at the same time because I think kind of immersing yourself in this art form and refining your technique, I think that's something that's really rewarding because this time last year was a completely different dancer to me now. And I think online learning has been difficult because I had a little bit of time learning face to face and then adjusting to Zoom was quite challenging, but I've gotten used to it now. And I think certain dances are harder to learn. I think Abhinaya pieces are much more difficult to learn because Auntie has to like show you the Abhinaya and like refining that. I think takes for me it takes longer. I really enjoy learning the dances that Auntie kind of picks that like are specific to you because I know that some of my dances are not the same as Dia and Sanya. Like we might all be doing a Jati Soram, for example, but they'll all be completely different. And I think like I really enjoy our lessons because it's more of a discussion, especially when I get feedback because it's kind of like a conversation and you're bouncing off. But it would be really nice to have like a small live crowd, because I think having their energy and then watching you kind of just motivate, like makes you want to dance even more, because you know that people are actually watching you in person.
Ta, kita, di, kita. Bring it to half line. Tum, kita, nam, kita, ta, dhi. Okay, so that you go with it and enjoy it. Tum, ta, te, ta, ha, dit, te, ta, ha, te, hat, te, hi, te, hat, te, hi, te, hat, te, hi, te, hat, te, hi. Ta, kita, di, kita, tum, kita, nam, kita. Tadhing ginatum tadhing ginatum takadhiku takatadhing ginatum hi te hat te hi te hat te hi. Try to avoid bending forward and keep your arm little more higher and sideways. Yes.
You guys, in comparison to normal classes or normal one-to-one classes, how have you found this new format of like focus and specified attention just on you? And how have you found that dynamic between you and Auntie? Has that changed? Have you learned anything? Have you felt any different in your training? We'll start with Sanya because you started before.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a big difference than like normal classes because firstly, she's just looking at you. She's noticing every, mistake or like good thing you're doing. So that helps you improve even more. Because say like my old class, when we had like in-person lessons on a Thursday, it would be like, 10, 15 people in a room. She's not gonna see each and every mistake or something that someone's doing. So to have like all her attention on you and to get that like feedback at the end, you can like personally I've made so much more improvement, and I'm able to notice, okay, here I can do this, here I can do that, and make the style my own. And refining the technique was a big thing because I feel like it's learning it is one thing, but to make sure it's looking sharp and like neat and not just doing it for the sake of it. And also with Auntie, I feel like the more you talk, there's more of like a friendly, like sort of motherly relationship forming. Like she's my guru, obviously. There's going to be the teacher student part, but also I feel like I can talk to her about anything. Like that that's the type of relationship that forms, I think. So yeah.
Dia, what about you?
Well, I've been doing one-to-one lessons for quite a while, but I think in the first few lessons it was like quite weird, because there usually in the group classes there's quite a lot of students, but when you're doing it one-to-one, it's just you and Auntie, so it's kind of hard.
So you've been doing one-to-one before as well, and
Yeah,
obviously it's continued one-to-one for your Arangetram training. So
yeah.
have you felt a change in your normal just one-to-ones and your Arangetram training focused one-to-ones?
Yes, because I feel like I've been going a little bit faster when I started our engagement training than when it was just normal one-to-one lessons.
Anika, what about you?
So obviously I do both group lessons and one-to-ones, and I kind of think the one-to-one lessons are better in a way, because Auntie gets to focus on you entirely and she directs all her energy and attention. It's helped to improve myself as a dancer and my technique, because I can fix all the mistakes. I kind of prefer the pace like slightly faster, and obviously her correcting and helping me improve. So I think one-to-one lessons are really beneficial if you want to kind of get better as a dancer.
What have you found is your favorite piece that you've been working on or that you have learnt, just to get an insight into what your amalgams are going to be like, how different they're going to be? Yeah, what's your favorite piece right now that you've learnt? Sanya?
I like all of them, but one that was really fun to learn was my Tilana, because Auntie was choreographing it as I was learning it. So I think that was fun. Like she would just change an idea, like she'll be like, oh, this looks better or that looks better, and now it's like even though I finished it, it's still being changed. So I like the Tilana. It's very like fast paced, and I think it's a good ending. And yeah, I'm excited for people to see it.
Great. Dia, what about you?
My favorite piece is probably one of the Keertanam I've learned, because it's really fast paced, and a Keertanam is kind of like mixed with Nritta and Abhinaya, so it's kind of like both in one dance, which I think is really cool.
Great. Which one are you doing?
Ananda Natami.
Lovely. Anaga?
So mine is actually the random that I learned, because I think that the ability to test your stamina is quite important. And I had to learn it from someone else because Auntie like wanted me to do it in a workshop. So I had to learn it quite quickly compared to how long it usually would take. So I think that was quite interesting to test how fast I could learn and kind of process the choreography. So that's probably my favorite piece.
Hello, Auntie. Thank you for coming and having this chat. So we'll start off with the same type of questions that we had with the Arangetram girls. What has your experience been throughout their Arangetram training when it was happening in real life and now when it's happening online through COVID?
Hi first. And yeah, it's nice to have this discussion on the girls who are preparing for Arangetram during this strange period of time. I think they must have mentioned that some of them started actually before COVID, so there was a bit of the face-to-face live classes in the beginning, fortunately, but no, the large chunk has been in during this lockdown, with most of the things happening online. And it's been difficult because it's very challenging to teach at a level like Arangetram, when you have to scrutinize every detail, like when as a teacher that's the time when you completely zoom in. And I found that online, when we can kind of correct nritta and teach nritta to some extent, but even that, the very energy and the sound that you get when the person is in front of you, and the vibe that they get from you, the whole atmosphere is very special in this kind of training. So I feel sad that they're missing that out, but I'm trying my best to create as much of that energy as possible through the internet. But Abhinaya is extremely challenging. Abhinaya is so challenging that, because there is breath involved, there is emotion involved, to actually train a young student who's new to the concept of Abhinaya, like in a Padam, is very challenging to teach it on Zoom, because you can't show them how, or explain how your breath control, your body posture, even the slightest shrinking of the shoulder or thing is can make it look totally different. So that is very challenging on Zoom. I think Sanya, Anaga, and Dia are coping very well. I must commend them for that. They're coping very well and they practice meticulously. But yeah, this is the challenges. But I mean, we're managing with what we can. Hopefully, when it's kind of eased off the lockdown, I can get a few sessions before the actual dates are fixed, I hope. But yeah, it'll be nice to see the feedback of how people think they have shaped up in this time, in this kind of training.
And Anaga had mentioned how she's really appreciates the selection you do for each individual student and the pieces that suit them. So what's your view on how you navigate selecting the pieces? And
Yeah, I mean, yeah, even with you, we did that with Daniela. So, yeah, no, it's very important for me to sit and have a chat with them before I might think of a piece. Then I tell them, and then we talk about it. We did it with you as well. So we talk about it and we see, and then I know roughly, because I know them quite well over this training period. Especially I know them even more now, so I know their personalities, and I kind of suss out what bhava, what emotion they could do portray well, because see, the Arangetram is it's a one-off occasion. It happens only once. Even the next time you do a solo margam, it's not an Arangetram. So that concept of an Arangetram is once and once only. So in the first time they do 8, 9 pieces, I don't want to give them pressure of too many myriad emotions. So I try to suss out their sthai in life, or their situation in life, and their age, and their emotional maturity, and then I try to take the piece accordingly, so that they'll do justice to it. And because when they do some level of justice to it, they'll be encouraged and motivated to learn more complex pieces. So, and language wise also, I try to select language which they can associate with and easily follow, because knowing that language of the song and knowing the song is very important. So yeah, I mean, I think I hope I hope I've got it okay. I have some more pieces to select for Dia and Anaga. It's going on, yeah.
And how has it been simultaneously training all three of them? I guess that's something you can shed light on.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting because all three are different age group. I mean, different, slightly different age. Dia being the youngest and Anaga being the oldest. And uh, whereas in dance maturity, the grading is different. So it's very interesting. Uh, Doing three at the same, I mean, during the same year, coaching them, because of their approach to dance as well, how they treat it, and what they look how much they look into it, and what do they get out of it. So it's no it's really interesting to see the three different perspectives, the three different approaches, but all three are committed. That's the beauty. That is the nice part.
And necessary also at this level.
Yeah, very, very necessary.
And what's your view on, a lot of the girls mentioned they would like at least some people in the crowd, although people have done virtual Arangetrams. What's your view on that? How do you think?
Very important point. I was hoping we'll discuss that, because I don't think anybody wants their Arangetram to be completely online stream or something. Again, it's a very unique experience and special occasion. Having said that, I don't see that much wrong or that much disadvantage in taking that approach in today's scenario. So to have around whatever the government allows, 50 to 100 people in a large hall spread out, and then you stream it so that the student gets the entire experience of, live musicians, the whole thing, and there is an audience. See, an Arangetram, not Arangetram, any performance, it's not the number that matters, to be honest. It's if there's 10 people and if you can reach them, that is great. Of course, out of their contacts and all that, they would like to have everyone and like to include everyone. But even if they can have a good solid audience of people who really close, closely connected with them, and who genuinely appreciate the art, so a combination, and they get good feedback from them, that's fantastic. And there'll be the wider audience who get a great opportunity to see the Arangetram, which they would not have been able to attend. So, no, I like the idea. I want to explore it actually. I hope one of them, at least, or two of them, will go with that plan if things are in lockdown through the rest of the year. But otherwise, yeah, we'd love to have it in a full hall and the normal way.
So when's your hope? Who Sanya, I'm assuming, is first because she's been training the longest.
Yeah, Sanya has been training the longest, but Sanya wants to do it after her GCSEs, which is coming in between now. So if you look at after GCSE, it's the summer holidays. So she might move it to September, and we might go with Dia's first, and then Sanya, and then Anaga. But yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have all three this year.
Great, lovely. Is there anything else you want to
I think that's it, no?
There's no other
Yeah,
point.
I'll say one more thing about, I don't know where you'll word it, but
It's fine. I can just edit it.
yeah, I think it'll be, yeah, another thing I'm really looking forward to is these girls setting an example for all the other children learning in this time, there are a lot of anxieties when you're learning on Zoom and through online classes and everything. But I think these three are going to like it's like setting a trail, showing all their classmates and other students of Natya and Sangeeta how they've worked, lockdown or no lockdown, they've worked with lyrics, songs, meanings, practice, showcasing angles, adjusting the camera, whatever. They've gone to a lot of trouble to work towards this. So I think that should be a big inspiration to everyone. I hope all the other children take a page from their books.
So, if a student is already training in one-to-one classes with their teacher, and then they begin their Arangetram training, which is in the same format, how is that different? How does that change?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I think doing one-to-one training in general for Natyam is is not necessary and is good. Both ways are, you can look at it either way. There are various reasons. I think people benefit from a group class in many ways, and from a one-to-one class in many ways, but two different things. So Dia was actually one example is Dia, because Dia was one of them who used to come to the group classes, and then she just switched to one-to-one classes, whereas Sanya and Anaga do the group classes and the one-to-one classes. So they're getting the benefit of both. Um, Dia was doing only one-to-one, and then it just she was progressing very well, and that's how the topic came about. That I spoke to her parents, and they spoke to me as well, saying that we are very keen on we moved into this one-to-one with the hope that we can start channelizing her towards an Arangetram. I said, oh, okay, that's ambitious, but why not? Let's start thinking about it, and we then we increase the one-to-one to two sessions, so that Pallavi is taking one and I take the other one, and that also benefited. So at least she got more training in a week. uh, but the difference in the approach is that the child is told, and then there is that excitement and everything. But from our side, all the things that we were teaching in a routine manner with corrections and everything continued the same way. But now it was more about investing little bit extra um, time in creating a thinking in the child to self analyze and self scrutinize and observe her own methodology, and partake of the process, not just listen and keep correcting. Once you listen, then you think the person is taught how to start observing next one, how they can catch themselves, the next change or correction required. So that was inculcated in Dia the minute we started thing, and the same thing with Sanya, Anaga, and everything. So that's a kind of focus that is created, which we do even in class. I mean, even in a group class, I'm always telling children, start analyzing, start thinking, start seeing. But I think it changed from then on. From when she started taking that approach, it the progress was faster.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed listening to the discussion and watching the students' preparation clips. Please do follow and support their journeys through the Upahar social media and our newsletters. We hope to see you all there on their virtual or real Arangetrams.